Good morning. My name is Angela, and I will be doing the archaeological site of Boldnor Cliff. This film will highlight the prehistoric site of Boldnor Cliff and the importance of underwater archaeological discoveries to the archaeological record. First, I would like to highlight some techniques that are currently employed by underwater archaeologists. The tools they use are similar to the ones used in terrestrial environments, except they are made of plastic. These tools would include hand trowels, clipboards, tape measures, etc. They also use giant vacuum-like hoses that move seawater and sediment. Miniature submarines, diving equipment, and balloons attached to baskets to float objects upward are also typical in underwater archaeological excavation. The science behind these techniques are necessary for maintaining the integrity of the artifacts. Because they have been preserved in an anoxic environment, careful attention must be paid to ensure their preservation. The artifacts are sensitive to light, movement, and chemical changes and must be stabilized at every point along transportation. The most essential component is to maintain the object's environment's equilibria. Leaving the objects in situ is a preferable method when dealing with underwater excavation. Boldnor Cliff is the site I researched, as I said, and it is located 11 meters offshore of the Isle of Wight in the UK. Boldnor Cliff is within the Solent Maritime Special Area of Conservation. It was discovered in 1999 when a lobster was seen throwing stone-aged worked flints from its burrow. Among the discoveries of this site, the oldest piece of string and a quarter of all the timber from the Mesolithic period that has been recovered in the UK has been found at that site. The site also yielded the earliest record of wheat in the UK. Other significant facts about this site is that it is an 8,000-year-old Mesolithic settlement, which is 2,000 years earlier than previously thought to have existed in the area. It is also potentially the earliest boat building site, and new techniques have also been employed during the excavation of this site. Because of the corrosive nature of the tides, a technique called box sampling has been used. And box sampling is when sections of the seabed are actually lifted and excavated on land. While Boldnor Cliff is a particularly interesting find, there are many other underwater archaeological sites that contribute richly to the archaeological record. One that was brought up during our course was the Greek shipwreck in the Black Sea. This is the world's oldest shipwreck and was found by an Anglo-Bulgarian team. It is particularly interesting because the design is very similar to the boats that are depicted on Greek wine vases. And Cleopatra's Palace is also an underwater site of interest. This site has been continually excavated since the mid-1990s by a French team led by Frank Godito. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Godio. This has been determined to be one of the world's richest underwater sites. And it is also significant as it contains many artifacts from the last dynasty to rule Egypt before Rome took over. Underwater archaeology is a valuable area of this science because due to the anoxic environment of underwater sites, many of the artifacts are well preserved. Shipwrecks are particularly valuable to allow us a glimpse of the trade that was going on between different places. There are many underwater sites still left to be discovered and explored. And not only are there many oceanic discoveries to be found, but also places of past human activity that have been flooded. These sites provide well-preserved glimpses into the past, like underwater time capsules. And satellite surveillance systems are not only able to track and find these sites, but also monitor them for security purposes. probes and on-site labs for analysis are also advancements that have been found useful for underwater sites in particular. There is much left to be discovered in the world of underwater archaeology. The wealth of knowledge they will give us about the past is as priceless as the artifacts this discipline will allow us to uncover. So I hope you learned a little bit about Boulder Cliff and about the importance of underwater archaeology. Thanks for listening.